it all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. We are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day like all night like on the blue light, offense like defense like this squad like house call like and it sound like and it sound like and it sound like.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever. Forever.
Triune.
Forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
It is deflected and intercepted. Jimmy Smith has it. He's going in for a touchdown.
All you haters better be gone.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is beautiful May 25th, 2016. And I know for most of you, actually, majority of you just listen to this on demand. So this probably isn't a big deal. But for you that listen to it live, the few, is we are moving the show a little bit later. And honestly, we'll keep it on Wednesdays until the season starts. But we will most likely, it'll just be sometime early morning to midday. Because one, I got a new job. I have a new job I'm excited about. It allows me to do a lot more things that I've been wanting to do, more interactive, and just a little bit more fun, a little bit more controlling. Also, if you guys kept up with me on Twitter at Short Sports Show, I am now an intern with my high school that I graduated from, class of 13. Whoop, whoop. And from San Marcos High School, I will be an intern football coach. I'm learning from the coaching staff, amazing group of guys, and being around these young athletes, observe and also get my hands dirty. Taking baby steps right now as we end the spring, going into the summer, and then into fall camp, which is going to be into the season. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, brand new experiences, and I'm just so excited that this opportunity has presented itself, and I was able to capitalize on it. So that is why the show is moving. It's not because I'm just being lazy and didn't want to wake up early. No, I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. I'm doing my show right now, and then I have to go to work. A bunch of fun. No, but it's going to be great times, guys. We're still going to be doing same show, same exciting stuff, and also we got some great news. I will be on June 9th and June 10th. I will be in Houston, Texas, to go meet up with Intergrind's owned Michael Orakpo. I will go meet up with him. I'll make a special video for people on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe over there, The Short Sports Show. Link is in the description down below. We'll be checking it out, seeing his facility. Also, not just there just to talk business, but also get some work in. Go out and work out. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I'm excited for June 9th and June 10th. So if you're in the Houston, Texas area, it's going to be me and my cousin who's training to be a wide receiver at Texas State. We're going to go out there and just have some fun, meet up with Michael, talk about some obviously business stuff, and also get some work in. I'll have my camera out there. We're just going to have a whole lot of fun. But so follow me also on Snapchat. Yeah, we're officially everywhere except for like Tumblr, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. I don't use it. We are on Snapchat, Short Sports, or is it Short? I don't even know my name. Sports Show 7 maybe, or Short Sports. I don't know. I'll put it in the description down below. Check me out. We will. I'll post random stuff every now and then. I don't post like crazy. I'm not the person who's gonna have like 15 different stories or whatever. But I will be posting a lot before we go to the trip. A little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes stuff when we're out there, and then when we're on our way back, and that way you guys can see what kind of goes into everything with the show, with me and Michael Rakpo, and then having the full length video on YouTube only, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. I might make an audio version depending on how it comes out. I might make a little audio version for you guys on iTunes, just if you can't get enough of this voice, which is not that attractive, but whatever. But anyways, that was weird. let us talk about, we have a ton of college football news, a lot of NFL news, and of course the NBA playoffs, which have just been crazy and less predictable than we all thought. I don't think any of us saw the Thunder jump into a 3-1 series lead. If you did, most likely you're a Thunders fan or you're a really good guesser. Because if you were serious, I don't think anybody really thought, oh yeah, the Thunder, I know what they did to the Spurs, but yeah, they're going to control the Warriors. Just watch. A 3-1 lead? I don't think so. Maybe 2-2, but not 3-1. And also, I don't think any of us really saw the Raptors tying the series at 2 apiece. I think we all knew they might steal one at home, but the way they were just being dominated, it made it seem like, all right, Cavs just got this. They're going to go into the NBA Finals 12-0, and next thing you know, they've lost 2, and now the series is tied going back to Cleveland tonight. Going to be exciting. Let's first talk about some Intergrind. Today's show is sponsored by Intergrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Arakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With plans starting at $6.99 a month, why not be a part of this rising program? Whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with Intergrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. Intergrind has a program that is personalized just for you. Intergrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Arakpo, Chiefs linebacker Derek Johnson, Oakland Raiders defensive back DJ Hayden. I mean, the list goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. Panthers linebacker David Mayo and Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at intergrind.com and call 832-475-2829. Again, that's intergrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking to a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. Former Missouri quarterback Matty Mock has signed an athletic grant in aid to play this season for Eastern Kentucky. EKU athletic spokesman Kevin Britton confirmed Saturday that Mock will join the FCS program after going 17-5 over the past 3 seasons with the Tigers as a starting quarterback and going also back-to-back Southeastern Conference titles. He will have 1 season remaining, and this will be his last. So he's basically taking that Noah Spence role, except Noah Spence actually, was clean, did everything right. Matty Mock is still to be determined. Not taking a shot at him, just still to be determined. He was suspended 3 times in 4 months during his junior season, and when new Tigers head coach Barry Odom dismissed him in January for another violation of team rules after a video was posted to Twitter that showed a person believed to be Mock appeared to be snorting some type of white powder-like substance. There's no confirmation from Missouri that the video was Mock, but it's just kind of like Larry Tunsil when he had the gas mask. It's him. What is he doing? So let's see if he can get his act together and play some football and get ready for the NFL draft for him. West Virginia head coach Dana Holgorsen says he expects suspended former Florida quarterback Will Grier to be eligible for the start of the 2017 season. He was suspended for 1 year, 1 entire year, in the middle of last season for testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. The suspension would have sidelined him for about half of this season, but he decided to transfer out of Florida, And that move will require him to sit out an entire 2016 season due to NCAA transfer rules, and it was unclear whether the suspension would carry over to 2017. Now, on Friday, Holgorsen said in a statement that Greer is enrolled at West Virginia, but he could not officially confirm his eligibility until the summer of 2017. Quote, however, I will fully anticipate him being eligible for the opening game of the 2017 season. Now, I played 6 games last season as a redshirt freshman, starting 5 of those games. Completed 66% of his passes, 1,200 yards, and 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. They were also 5-0 at that time, or 6-0 at that time, before he lost a job, and Florida's season kind of went down the drain. It's good for West Virginia that finally looks like if Will Grier can mature and be able to sit behind, learn the offense, learn the environment that West Virginia is in and what they will be in, then maybe he can be that guy that they haven't had since Geno Smith. The other guys, Clint Trickett, some of these other guys have performed, but not consistently enough to get West Virginia over that 8-win hump, over the 9-win hump. Maybe Will Grier can be the guy to take them 10-11 and even compete for the Big 12 championship and win it. Possibly could be the guy. Other Big 12 news is former Texas Tech quarterback Davis Webb is transferring to California, not Colorado. Now, I committed in January saying that he was going to go to Colorado, but he wanted to take a couple visits just to make sure he was making the right choice. Fine, he doesn't. It's not like it's kind of like recruiting where you can commit, you can still take your visits elsewhere and do what you feel. That's exactly what he was able to do. Now, had it been the summer officially, had he got his degree and then did not sign he signed the letter saying he was going to Colorado and then said, no, I'm going to go, then that would have been a whole issue and mess. And honestly, I don't think it could have happened. But now he's going to California to most likely replace Jared Goff. He will be eligible this year, his last season of eligibility. Now, they said that he had a change of heart in February around the time that Cal coach Sonny Dykes had hired Jake Spividal as the team's new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Now, Spividal is obviously from the Mike Leach air raid coaching tree, as is Dykes and Texas Tech head coach Cliff Kingsbury. So it was kind of like, all right, this is a system I feel comfortable in. They've had success, and I can step in there. If this offensive line improves, obviously they lost their starting running back, a receiver or two in the NFL draft. Having to replace those doesn't mean just because he's stepping into that offense, he's going to throw another 5,000 yards and be able to replace Jared Goff like that. Offensive line has some issues. If that gets better, some guys step up, then this was a very smart move for Davis Webb. I think it's really smart either way because Colorado, they hadn't had that much success, if any. So for him to get the exposure that he's needing, this is his last year, even though it's a team game, obviously, but he's got to look out for what he's got to do for future. I mean, Mel Kiper has Davis Webb as his number 1 senior quarterback for the NFL draft. The number 1 senior quarterback is Davis Webb. Can he be that guy? Can he be that guy? Now, last week we talked about dark horse playoff teams and so today we're going to examine some sleepers for Heisman Trophy candidates from each conference of the group of 5. And I'm not going in a specific order that says, all right, I believe this guy is the number 1 out of all. No. The sleeper guys, random order in these conferences, and who I believe can be the guy that doesn't get that much noise and can win the Heisman Trophy out of this conference. So we'll start with the Pac-12 first, and we're going to go with UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen. Now, this was tough because I easily could have been swayed to Royce Freeman, the running back from Oregon. I like him a lot, one of my favorite running backs for 2016. And there's a lot of running backs for the 2016 season and the 2017 draft. If you need a running back, there's about 10 of them that are ready to start day one if they continue the success they've been having. Now, for Josh Rosen, he is going to get a little bit more talk than Royce Freeman is, but I don't think he's getting enough. Obviously, the main guy in the Pac-12 that's going to get the most talk is a guy named Christian McCaffrey, the running back out of Stanford. So I'm going to go Josh Rosen next on the list. Now, as a true freshman, he stepped up and won the starting job and threw for 3,600 yards and 23 touchdowns. As a true freshman, ladies and gentlemen. Rosen has the abilities to become a top quarterback, and sure, the Bruins need to replace some guys on offense. They got some pieces they need to fill. But they have a helpful schedule, is what I'll call it. It's not easy, but things go in their way, in their favor, which is why I name it a helpful schedule. They have to travel. I believe it's a neutral site game for the Texas A&M game. If it's not, it's at College Station. They got to go there, or somewhere here in Texas they got to go. They got to travel to BYU. They got to travel to Arizona State and Washington State. But other than that, UCLA has a fairly easy path to winning the Pac-12, at least the Pac-12 South. I mean, they're not really having to worry about Stanford. I believe Stanford goes to their place. USC, if they got a quarterback, then USC is going to be pretty solid. Their defense is looking really good. Even with some pieces missing, looks like they are reloading on defense. Offense, two main studs out there at the receiver position. One plays DB as well. So they have a helpful schedule. They have things that can go in their favors, and that's what matters. And Josh Rosen gets that pieces together, becomes the official leader of that team. Could be looking at a Heisman candidate. Now, moving on to the SEC, and this is going to be the fun part, because I have received, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it before the show last week, and I knew when I was making the videos, and I was ready. I was ready for it. I'm not a Tennessee lover. I like Tennessee, but of course, I guess when you hear things about your school that you don't really agree with, you completely miss that. You completely miss that. So I'm picking the Tennessee player. Now, obviously, LSU running back Leonard Fournette, Georgia's Nick Chubb, they're going to dominate majority of that Heisman talk. Those two guys for the SEC. Now, obviously, should they still stay healthy and out of trouble. But Tennessee's Jalen Hurd will be a guy who will make a lot of noise in college football in 2016. Now, most of you, obviously have disagreed with me, to say that, nicely, on what I think of Tennessee. But I know the Volunteers will have players. I'm not disregarding that. I know Derek Barnett, solid defensive end. I know Jalen Hurd. I know Joshua Dobbs. Honestly, that's really it. I know there's some other key guys, I know. And Joshua Dobbs is most likely going to be the best quarterback in the SEC, depending on how good Trevor Knight plays. If he can be the guy who beat Alabama in that Sugar Bowl, or if he plays like what he did last season for a garbage time, then it's not going to be too good. But depending on how Trevor Knight plays, being the senior guy, being the older guy at Texas A&M, or how Jacob Eason, how good he's going to be, is all that hype, is it for real? I mean, because most likely he's going to be the starting quarterback at Georgia. Dobbs can also be a guy in the Heisman talks, but I feel more comfortable putting Hurd up there, making those highlight reels, and making a little bit more plays, being so dynamic. At 6'4", Hurd rushed for 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns in 2015. Now, Tennessee's schedule in 2016 is also very helpful. Not easy, but helpful. Because I know Tennessee fans are going to get on me. They're going to say, no, it's not, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. You're in the SEC. Great. They got Appalachian State and Virginia to open up the season, and those will not be walking the parks. New offense for Virginia Tech. Should still have a sturdy defense from past several years. Appalachian State, a team that's been historically great at the FCS level. They've moved up to the FBS. They've won a bowl game. They've had back-to-back winning seasons in the FBS. it's not going to be a walk in the park. They're going to be a good team. But I still believe Tennessee will get victories out of both of those. Then comes Ohio and Florida at home. 4 straight games at home. It's another 2 wins. And by now, the hype is really going for Tennessee. I mean, there's a lot of hype now. You got to know that there's a ton more come that point when they're 4-0, 5-0. Then they have 2 road trips to Georgia and Texas A&M. Those really will be the first real test to see where Tennessee really is. Whether there's still that mid-pack SEC team or are they actually taking the steps to be the elite SEC team. Because I know Georgia's not going to be great, neither is Texas A&M, but they've had success, more success than Tennessee has. So it's a great rating scale, if that's what you want to call it, for Tennessee. And then right after the A&M game, then they have Alabama at home. Helpful, not easy, helpful. It's key. That's the key thing for today. That's what I should name this title. And I can't wait to hear well, look who we played. There's always going to be a 2017 Tennessee hype train when these guys become seniors, if they stay from the NFL draft. And it's going to be crazy for Tennessee. But the Jalen Hurd, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns in 2015. A 6'4" guy, can line up at receiver, so dynamic at running back. They run trick plays with him. A return man, a specialist, an offensive weapon for Tennessee. And I can see this guy, if something happened to Leonard Fournette, if something happened to Nick Chubb, injury to him, then I can see Jalen Hurd establishing himself as the go-to guy in the SEC, as a Heisman guy. Maybe his teammate Joshua Dobbs takes it away from him. Dobbs takes it away from him. Never know. But there you go, Tennessee fans. There's some love for you. There's some love for your team. I'm not a hater. And I also, the Texas video I made, apparently I sounded like a hater too. Each time I talked about these teams, I said that I like the path they're going on. I like the team. Just because we don't have this we're not agreeing on how much success they're going to have this season, doesn't mean I'm a hater. It's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. I mean, I don't need to please Tennessee fans or Texas fans. There's the last people, the UT fans or Tennessee fans. Those are the last people I need to please. But I'm just saying that there's been a lot of hype and a lot of unfulfillment towards that hype. That's all. I want to be proved wrong so that way I can become a believer in them. Until that happens, I'm sorry, Tennessee, it's not happening. Let's move on to the ACC, where I'm picking a different guy. Someone who doesn't get that much recognition until he's actually made a play. Other times we could talk about players and, you got to watch out for that guy. He's the key player to that offense before the game happens, before the season happens. But he doesn't get that recognition until after he's made a pretty good catch, a pretty good run, until something happened with him that he's strictly involved in. And that's UNC wide receiver Ryan Switzer. This should be his breakout year. If he is where we believe Ryan Switzer has the ability to go, this is the time for him to break out of that shell and become that receiver. After a 697-yard and 6 touchdown season last year, Switzer is looking to be the next big-time slot player. And I don't want to just give him the Wes Welker title because the sky's the limit for Ryan Switzer. He can do a lot of things. Even though he's a smaller guy, he really can play outside and make the DBs just look like fools, really. But he's mainly that slot guy. And, I was disappointed in his game against Baylor in the Russell Athletic Bowl. 3 catches, 29 yards. Absolutely nothing going for UNC. But Switzer is so dynamic. Being able to be so effective in the return game, obviously in the receiving game, catching it on jet sweeps. He can easily turn a 6-yard hitch into an 80-yard plus touchdown catch and run. He's that special. He's that good. And that's why I put him on this list. as a Heisman sleeper for the ACC conference. I know there's going to be Clemson skill players, maybe a Florida State quarterback, depending on how good they do. I feel like Ryan Switzer is that receiver that can get this done. Moving on to the Big 12, and this one, it looks like I'm just trying to warm up to the Tennessee and Texas fans. This one's a little tough because obviously I can go. I'm not going to go with any of the Baylor quarterbacks because they're going to get the hype. Jarrett Stidham and or Seth Russell, they're going to be the favorites. Obviously, Baker Mayfield is the main favorite. And then you have the Baylor quarterbacks. But and other guys that they were honorable mentions for the Big 12. Patrick Mahomes of Texas Tech, if he can put up a 5,000-plus yard season, have a dominating touchdown-interception ratio, and actually lead this team to more than 7-8 wins, Patrick Mahomes could be the guy. Really, to be a Heisman, he's got to have those stats and then put Texas Tech above 10 wins. 10 is barely making. It's really got to be like 11, which I understand is very, very tough going 11-1, 11-2. Also, that depending on how Kenny Hill does at TCU, and he fits right into the offense and doesn't lose a step. Remember, he was the guy his first 5 games of his freshman year at Texas A&M. He was a Heisman favorite after the first 5 games. So he knows the talk. He knows the hype that going into it being a Heisman contender. That's why I'm putting him on the list, depending on what he does at TCU and if he even wins the starting job. But the guy who I have as a sleeper is one of my favorite running backs. And that's Texas Longhorns running back Chris Warren III. Now, after a late season surge by the Texas Longhorns running game with Deontay Foreman and Chris Warren, look for the Longhorns offense to finally look like an offense. Warren is better, I believe, is the better of the backs. Powerful, complemented by catching out of the backfield, and just the way he moves on the field is a lot more elusive than Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman's kind of just running right at you. He has speed, but he's not a shifty guy. Chris Warren, he's shifty, powerful, and just does just about everything. And it's obviously going to be tough for him to get the ball 30 times a game due to the rotation UT is going to start using because obviously Deontay Foreman's a very good running back. They got other guys that are coming in that are pretty solid running backs. Sterling Gilbert as offensive coordinator running this up-tempo offense. He's smart enough. He knows he's going to put Warren in positions to succeed. It's just how many times is he going to give that to him? In 2015, Warren rushed for 470 yards on 71 carries, including a 91-yard rumbling, tumbling touchdown against Texas Tech. That became one of the favorite plays, a trending play they see on highlights and college football pump-up videos and stuff like that. Warren is part of that because it was just an incredible run from, I believe it was in their own, obviously, 91 yards, and he just took off, pushing players. And it wasn't like, everybody stopped because they thought he was tackled. No, it's just nobody could tackle him. He just kept shoving everybody off. Obviously, great blocks by the receivers and the offensive line. And he just took off and went. And if this guy can somehow, and I don't wish this on Foreman, but if Foreman gets hurt or Foreman gets in trouble, maybe, not Foreman, Foreman. And then Warren steps in. Maybe he gets the ball 25-plus times, maybe 30 times. And I'm not saying carrying the ball. I'm just saying getting the ball, catching out of the backfield, things like that. Getting the ball in his hands and let him do the work. Chris Warren. Finally, the Big Ten. This was a little bit of a tougher one because there's really not that many great players in the Big Ten right now, at least that we know of. And this one may not be a sleeper. But obviously JT Barrett's going to be up there. I'm trying to think of another player, and I really can't. So I'm going to go with Penn State running back Saquon Barkley. Now, Barkley emerged big time in 2015, shattering the Penn State freshman rushing record with 1,076 yards. He broke off runs of 56 yards against Michigan and Ohio State and led the Big Ten in ranking 11th nationally with 16 runs of 20 yards or longer. You know, what I think is going to hurt him, though, that might drop these stats and maybe drop his success this year, is who's going to be quarterback. There's been no guy who's stepped up at quarterback for Penn State. And even if there is a guy who looks like, all right, he's going to be the starter, it's not that much confidence going into that. How is the O-line going to play? Terrible last year. Barely got enough for him to do his thing on running the ball, but they can't run the ball every single play. And defenses now know about Saquon Barkley. They have film on him. They know what success he had against their defenses and what was working for their defense towards him. Things are going to change next year. Penn State can easily be that team that goes 8-4 or go 5-7. There's so much uncertainty. There's talent. There's a lot of hope that this team can go to a bowl game and possibly win one. But there's also that feeling that this team could be very bad and very, very boring to watch. So those are my Heisman sleepers for each of the the Power 5 conferences. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. And I'm sure Tennessee fans and Texas fans are going to still jump on me, which is go at it. Go at it. Moving on, we got Pittsburgh running back James Conner. Said Monday he is cancer-free. 6 months after he was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, he took to Twitter to share the news, quote, "God is amazing. Just got the call that my body is clean of cancer. Been a long road, but God had my back. Thanks everyone who said prayers." End of quote. Conner, a former ACC Player of the Year, finished his 12th and final chemotherapy treatment on May 10th. His cancer fight drew national attention. I don't know if you guys saw, he made an appearance on the Ellen Show, and pretty good story. Also, in that, she invited Eric Berry, who had the exact same disease and won it. Eric Berry showed up on the show and talked to James Conner, and they had already been in contact before, but it was really cool. He also James Conner also threw out the first pitch at the Pittsburgh Pirates home opener. So awesome news. We all wanted this because James Conner is one of the good guys out there and also a very talented football player that you just really didn't want this to happen to him, but he beat it. He's going to be stronger. He's already been practicing with the team, obviously just without pads, really hitting just kind of in a jersey and shorts and catching the ball. But it is awesome to see that he's clean of cancer. He's good, and it's going to continue to work. And now he's stronger in faith. He's stronger in his ability and his mental state. Awesome news for James Conner. Best of luck. He will be ready to play in the season opener against Villanova on September 3rd. It's going to be awesome. UCLA disappointed me. They signed with Under Armour, a 15-year school-wide shoe and apparel deal worth more than $280 million on Tuesday. And at those numbers, the deal is the largest in college football history. In January, Ohio State said its 15-year deal with Nike was worth more than $252 million. Texas also signed a 15-year deal with Nike worth $250 million last October. Michigan, they signed an 11-year deal with a 4-year option that could be worth up to $173.8 million with Nike. And now UCLA said, nope, we're done with Adidas, and we're switching over to Under Armour, $280 million. Now, UCLA had been with Adidas since 1999. Really, Adidas is probably the worst at football uniforms. It's just they haven't made anything that was that attractive. I like the fit of it, where it is over the shoulder pads and how tight the jersey can be. But that's really it. None of the designs, they haven't won over a school. Obviously, Nike has Oregon. Under Armour has Maryland. Adidas they don't really have anybody. And I've just never been impressed with Adidas uniforms. UCLA, they did some nice things with them, but nothing worthwhile, nothing that is different that anyone else could have thought of. What was funny, though, in this is that UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen commented on the deal on Instagram saying, quote, "We're still amateurs, though. Gotta love nonprofits, hashtag NCAA," end quote. He later deleted the post. But it is funny, though, because they say these schools won't have enough money to pay student athletes. Well, you're getting free shoes and free apparel for $280 million. And you're telling me there's not enough money. You got other deals coming in. One thing I like to propose, and this is something off the top of the dome that came up yesterday, and I want to hear what other people have to say about this. What if, and this is obviously a baby step, but what if, because this would help the schools tremendously, what if the juniors who elect to stay and not enter the NFL draft, because whether they don't like their place, maybe they're scouted as third, fourth round, and next year they could be first or second, right? Or maybe they're even scouted in the second round or late first, but they feel that they could easily drop to the third or fourth, and they're saying, you know what, I want to solidify myself in my position, and next year if I stay, I could be a top 15 pick, guaranteed top 15. But I need some incentive, because if I get hurt, yeah, I can get an insurance type of deal, but it's so much hassle. Why don't schools say this? And this is for football. We're talking about football, and then we can go to basketball and some other sports. For football, if a player stays for his senior year, then he can get paid. And it'll be a certain limit, certain amount of money for each school equally. So school from the Sun Belt Conference all the way to Alabama, they pay the exact same. So that way recruits don't say, well, if I stay, I get paid this much. And if they stay for the senior year, then they get paid. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be 1,000. It could be 700, 500, 700, 900 maybe, max. For the seniors that stay. Because then the school gets money saying, and it helps them graduation rates, GPA, things of that nature, and also just overall having their senior stay. Maybe they're a fan favorite. People know them. More tickets sold. There you go. For basketball, you stay after your freshman year, your sophomore year, you get paid a certain limit. You stay for your junior year, you get paid a certain limit. Stay for your senior year, you get paid a certain limit. See what I'm saying? Baseball, I guess they just get paid. Baseball and softball is pretty tough because I think you sign a deal whatever comes first. When you turn 21 or you graduate from college is when you can enter the Major League Baseball draft. I believe that's how it goes. So baseball and softball, they're going to have to work out some kinks. But I think that's a pretty solid thing. Now, I haven't thought all of it through. It was just an idea that came up at work yesterday. I was like, oh, hey, this would sound pretty cool. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But I feel like that's a solid thing. Some incentive. You stay, you get paid. You leave, you still potentially get paid, but, you might not be in the best situation. Anyone have a college degree. And the last bit of news for college football is Baylor. They said Tuesday its Board of Regents continues to review the results of an investigation into the school's response to sexual violence allegations, many involving football players, but made no announcements about any action being taken by the board. The school did say it expects to make an announcement by June 3rd. The statement came hours after an unconfirmed report circulated on social media that the school had dismissed university president Kenneth Starr. He has not been fired yet. He's not been dismissed yet. I personally, I made a Twitter poll, and I will see if I can bring it up here. Let's see where it's at. I made it yesterday, Tuesday for those wanting to know. And let's see where we're at. I believe last time I saw it was about 300 and something. Should be over. All right, we're at 366 votes with 16 minutes left. So go ahead and vote now. And I put, should Baylor fire both President Ken the Star, and head coach Art Briles? Yes, no, or just Star? 76% of the 366 votes have said yes, they should fire both. 15% said no. And 9% of the 366 votes said just Star. With one comment saying, actually, a Briles only opinion would work for me too. That was by pin bar, whatever. Appreciate it. And yeah, so that'll be very, very interesting to see what they do. Again, June 3rd is when they will make an official announcement to whether or not or to who's going to be fired. Now, Ken Starr recently, just about 20 minutes ago, has asked the entire board to release the entire documents of the situation with what was it, Pepper something? Let me see. What do we got? Okay. Hello? We don't have it. Well, anyways, Pepper something. I know it looks bad. They want to know. They want the entire thing released, and it should be. It should be released to for everyone to see what they did do, what Baylor or what they didn't do. So we will see, and we'll keep you up to date on Baylor's situation as we move on to the NFL. Woo! Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking to a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. Today's show is sponsored by Intergrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Orakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With plans starting at $6.99 a month, why not be a part of this rising program? Whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with Intergrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. Intergrind has a program that is personalized just for you. Intergrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs linebacker Derek Johnson, Oakland Raiders defensive back DJ Hayden. I mean, the list goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. Panthers linebacker David Mayo and Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at intergrind.com and call 832-475-2829. Again, that's intergrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. The Dallas Cowboys are poised to move into their new headquarters, the Ford Center at the Star, later this year. The organization hopes the NFL Draft will also come to their Frisco, Texas home in 2018. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, that's stupid. Frisco, no one's ever going to go there. Well, that's where the FCS National Championship game has been played over the past several years, and they've had a pretty good turnout. And with the NFL Draft, think of it this way. Chicago has held the past two NFL drafts at the Auditorium Theater at Roosevelt University, which seats about 3,000. And more than 225,000 attended the Draft Town celebration in Grant Park over those 3 days. The Star at the Cowboys in Frisco, Texas, will include a 12,000-seat stadium that will be shared between the Cowboys and the Frisco Independent School District. And it's going to host a number of high school football games starting August 27th. And the Cowboys, among a number of teams, including Philadelphia, Denver, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and Los Angeles, have all expressed an interest in hosting the draft in the future. And Canton, Ohio is also another one. And the NFL expects to make this decision on the 2017 location later this summer, but does not have a time frame in which they would name the future cities. This would be an awesome spot. And honestly, Frisco, Texas is not bad. I've been there once. I wasn't that little. I was probably like 8 or 9. Loved it. Had a great time. And this would be an amazing thing for the Dallas Cowboys to host. And I think it'd be perfect for the 2017 NFL Draft. Chicago is nice. They did a great job. I think we should mix it up more and throw it with the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a ton of fun. People that aren't having the greatest of fun right now, and that's Jacksonville Jaguars and Jalen Ramsey. They're not sure when he'll start earning his contract. They did get a contract. They signed him, but they're kind of seeing. He's going to have surgery, or he had surgery, I believe. And it sucks. The Jaguars have had some bad luck with their first overall pick in the first rounds past years. Obviously, Deontay Fowler, he had problems, missed the entire 2015 season. Jalen Ramsey underwent surgery. It's anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, and there's a possibility he could miss 6 months. But the fact that he's going to be back by training camp, and he'll miss all of OTAs and mandatory 3-day minicamp, but it's okay because they will have him back for the season, and that's what counts. Because the Jaguars, they've already lost right tackle. He fractured in his left hand. I had a fracture in his left hand. He's going to be limited to the rest of OTAs and minicamp. 7th round draft pick Jonathan Woodyard, he's out for the entire season with a torn Achilles. And backup center Luke Bowanku had suffered a torn labrum in his hip and will be placed on the physically unable to perform list. So not the greatest news for Jacksonville Jaguars fans. This is the last time, one of the things we made a commitment on was not to talk about Johnny Manziel. And we've done a great job because there's been news about Johnny Manziel. We haven't talked about it because we said the next time we ever talk about Johnny Manziel is if he's dead or he signs with the team. And one of them looks to be happening a lot sooner, and it's not looking like it's going to be signing with the team. Not good. But one thing I want to make a commitment on now is the Tom Brady and Deflategate. This is the last time we were talking about this until it is officially over. And if it never officially finishes, then we'll never talk about Tom Brady and Deflategate ever again. We'll drop it completely. Because I'm sick of it. I know you are sick of it. Everybody is sick of this. No matter what side you take, you are sick of it. And if you are having fun with this, go see a doctor. Because it's not good. Because this is very stupid. It's boring. A waste of time for everybody. He's going to appeal, or he did appeal on Monday, for a second hearing by the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in regards to his 4-game suspension because of the Deflategate imposed by the NFL. The NFL Players Association attorney Theodore B. Olson told ABC News on Monday morning in an interview that aired on Good Morning America that it plans to file the appeal later Monday, which it did. So here's the bad part. That if something happens, he could take this case. If an embark session isn't granted, Brady could take this case to the U.S. Supreme Court. And let me tell you why that's wrong. One, it shouldn't go this far. Ladies and gentlemen, he potentially deflated footballs. Whether he did or not, it happened. This is the punishment. And I get it. Well, if you were, if they were saying you did this, but you didn't, You wouldn't want to be suspended for 4 games. Look, Tom Brady has this X amount of money. You purposely made sure that his contract would move over majority of the money to games 5 through 16. He made sure that those would be good is when he's going to get paid. The first 4 games, he's like, I can give up that much money because there's a chance I won't play. He's already somewhat accepted it. So just accept this. Why take this to the Supreme Court? And even if they said yes, there are so many more issues that they could be looking at than a stupid quarterback possibly deflating football. And should he be suspended the 4 games or not? You're telling me that is more important than real social issues that they could be looking at, things that are going to affect other people's lives, that could affect your life and others, that this is more important for him to play 4 games against the Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, Houston Texans, and the Buffalo Bills. It's not like the Patriots, even if they don't have them, like they're not going to make the playoffs, they're still going to make it because they're just that good somehow. They just have it locked down. So why take it this far? Accept the 4-game penalty. Accept it already. Get it over with. This is the last time we're talking about it until it is completely over with. And they say either Brady has to serve it or he doesn't serve it. That's it. That's the last time we're bringing it up because it's so stupid. It's getting this far. It's not a real issue. He potentially deflated footballs. If he didn't, then all right. They want to attack you. They're going to keep attacking you until you have some type of punishment. Whether it's fair or not, this is it. If you did do it, hey, at least you're not suspended for the entire year because you cheated the game. If it happened. It's 4 games. That's it. And they could possibly win it. I think they'll lose to the Cardinals. They could potentially still beat the Dolphins. They should still beat the Texans. And the Bills, that's going to be a tough game. Worst case, you're looking at 2-2. Best case, you're looking at 3-1 without Tom Brady, without him getting hurt. And you go into the season with a healthy Tom Brady and you open up against Cleveland. Really? Come on now. Buffalo Bills cornerback Stephon Gilmore will not be attending OTAs, which began on Monday, until he and the team can reach an agreement on a contract extension, according to Tyler Dunn of the Buffalo News. Quote, I definitely would stay as long as it's fair. I love Buffalo. They gave me my first opportunity to play in the National Football League. I think we have a lot of great talent, a lot of guys in the locker room that I love like little brothers. But right now, it's a business. It's not personal. You believe in yourself, and you can see if you can meet, end quote. Now, 4 seasons after being selected number 10 overall in the 2012 NFL Draft, Gilmore has started 51 games for the Bills. 9 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, and 156 tackles in his career, which has placed him as the team's top cornerback. But there's also another guy named Ronald Darby who started 15 games last season as a rookie and did pretty well. So Buffalo might be like, look, we're going to pay you a solid deal, and if you don't agree with it, well, we're okay without you. Because, depending on the deal. Now, his rookie deal was for 4 years and roughly $12 million with a 5th-year option. And $12 million, that was per year. The option carries a salary of $11 million, which he is set to make this season. Now, if Gilmore were to receive a new contract paying $11 million annually, it would put him around the 8th highest paid cornerback in football right now, with Miami Dolphins' Byron Maxwell above him, and then below New York Giants' Janoris Jenkins, who got a solid deal. So it's definitely how he truly feels. Does he feel that money's more important to stay in Buffalo and have a potential dominant defense with Rex Ryan and maybe make a case for the playoffs? Or do you feel like, I just want my money. I'm going to go get rich. That's all I want. I don't care what team I go to if we have success or not. I want my money. Might not be the place for him then. Now, majority of you might have got here for a reason. You wanted to hear something I put in the description, and that's about a 22-week NFL schedule. And if you haven't read the story by now in Sports Illustrated, you guys might be thinking, why? That's so dumb. Well, wait a minute. Not 22 games. Not 22 games. It's 22 weeks. Okay, there's a difference. Now, Melissa Jacobs of Sports Illustrated wrote a very interesting and great article that I'll link in the description for you guys. I didn't do it in the beginning, but I will go back and put it in there. So if you're listening live, don't worry. I'll put it right back in there. Just refresh the page and once the show is over with. Now, she's proposing a 22-week NFL schedule. Now, before you go all crazy, listen to what she has to say. Again, it's a 22-week regular season that runs from September until February. 22 weeks, not 22 games. It all accumulates into an early March Super Bowl. This is how the schedule would work. On September 11th would be Game 1, honoring America and way to start off the year, right? After that, next week, September 19th, Monday Night Football, Game 2. Then every single team has a bye week the third week. Early season injuries, contract situations, coaching staff reevaluations, all sorts of things go into that early third week, and they have a bye week. You get rest. We're all about safety here. Why not have it? Right? Everyone gets a bye week. Then we started back up October 2nd, Game 3. October 9th, Game 4, in some being in London. Then we have a bye week after that. It has some what's going on, Calpo? What's going on, man? Thank you for joining the show. And then you have a bye week. Again, injuries, soreness, safety, contract situations. Actually, those should be done by then. Coaching, all right, we might be 1-3 right now. What are we doing? What do we need to change? You got a bye week. Then again, October 23rd, Game 5. October 30th, Game 6. Then you have a bye week. Then we start stretching out here. November 10th, Thursday Night Football, Game 7. November 20th, Game 8. November 27th, Game 9. Bye week, Game 10 and 11. Then you have Christmas break for all teams. And then you also have a Pro Bowl skills. Now, this is where I kind of, depending on when the break lasts, because she didn't put a date. I don't want a Pro Bowl skills competition during a couple days before Christmas, and maybe not even a couple days after Christmas, because it's a Christmas break for a reason, right? And everybody should have the Christmas break for the holidays, no matter what your religion is, for these families to be together and not play on Christmas, right? And then she put the Pro Bowl skills competition would be in a warm location. So Miami, California, somewhere like that where everybody can get together. But I just don't like it that time because it's a Christmas break for a reason, right? Why still separate the families when you're not trying to have a game on Christmas? What's the point? Then January 1st, there's a game. Don't like that. Then January 8th, another game. January 15th, another game. Then you have a bye week. And then you go Thursday Night Football, Game 15, Game 16 on February 5th. February 12th, you got the wild card weekend. February 19th, divisional. February 26th, conference, AFC, NFC championships. And then March 5th, Super Bowl. And she goes in depth on why, and I just picked out three paragraphs here. The multitude of buys are key, mainly because players will have greater recovery time from existing injuries and lessen the risk of aggravation. In addition, the buys and the extended season allow players more off-field opportunities while their sport is in season, aka the marketing value is in its prime. Bunch of money to be made for the players, for the NFL, for networks, for companies, big time. And safety. We're all talking about safety. All talking about concussions. Right here. Other injuries, safety, multiple bye weeks. The revenue increases for more televised weeks than that will get the NFL to its desired $25 billion in revenue mark in an instant. And the new CBA would dictate a decent chunk of that money to trickle into the paychecks of players. Financially, it's a win-win for both. This new NFL also provides a solution to the joke that is a Pro Bowl. This is her words, not mine. I like the Pro Bowl. Make it a skills competition over Christmas break. I disagree. Go somewhere warm. The NFL makes a donation to the charity of a choice for each skills winner. I like that. But and bet those nagging injuries and big name dropouts would be a thing of the past. Less people would drop out. You would still have Tom Brady to be in a Pro Bowl and guys like that. So I like it. I like the Pro Bowl being somewhere in the middle of the season through the bye week or the Christmas break. I don't like the Christmas break part. We're not trying to separate anybody. That was the whole point. But depending on how many players, maybe it's just 7-on-7 type of deal. The best 7 offensive players, best 7 defensive players, and that's it. Maybe that way, because it's just a skills challenge. It's not an actual Pro Bowl. We'll see. I do like this schedule. Obviously, there's some kinks in it. It's a huge win for the players. More money, more free time, and less of chance of getting hurt. Everybody else gets paid. Networks, companies, the NFL. That's all that matters to them is just getting paid. And this does it. And they stay healthy. And for fans, you get to have a season much longer, and you get to enjoy the football season much more. I like it. All right, moving on, just a couple more news stories we get to go over. Bengals tight end Tyler Eifert had left ankle surgery today and could miss the first couple games of the season. The Bengals open up the season September 11th on the road against the New York Jets, and they'll visit the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2, so he could miss both of those games, if not, be kind of limited in both of those. News of the surgery was first reported by the Cincinnati Enquirer, which said a 3-month recovery is anticipated. Apparently, Eifert hurt his left ankle late in the Pro Bowl on January 31st. There goes majority of people not just not wanting to be in the Pro Bowl anymore because they're like, look, this guy got hurt in the Pro Bowl, and now it lingered on where now he had to have surgery, and he's got to miss a couple games for the beginning of the season. That could become a problem. Last bit of news before we talk about the NBA and wrap up the show. Los Angeles will host Super Bowl 54, I believe, in 2021. The final 3 bids awarded during the meeting, Atlanta will have the Super Bowl in 2019, and South Florida will receive the bid for Super Bowl in 2020. And the last time the Super Bowl was held in Los Angeles area was on January 31st, 1993, when the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Buffalo Bills in a blowout 52-17 victory at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And obviously the other California one, or Southern California, was for the Qualcomm Stadium for the Chargers, but it was the Raiders versus the Buccaneers, I believe, yes. And that was another blowout victory. So LA, they finally get one in 2021. Atlanta gets it in 2019, and South Florida in 2020. And the best thing about this is I completely forgot that 2017, next year's NFL Super Bowl, is in Houston. I'm staying in Texas this year. I'm not transferring schools. I don't know if I told everybody that. I'm not transferring to West Texas A&M. I'm not going to Miami. I know so much heartbreak. No, I decided to stay here. I think I've said this. I might not have. But in case that's brand new. So I'm staying in Central Texas for the time being. Finishes up school here online. It's much faster. I could graduate next fall. Before next fall, really. It's like September when I graduate. So instead of being in April of 2018, that's a lot quicker and saves money. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up the show with NBA news. And really, it's just to talk about the games. The Warriors losing last night. They're down 3-1 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And like we said at the beginning of the show, I don't believe anybody, not even Thunder fans, even thought that they would be up 3-1. They thought the best possibility was that they would be tied 2-2. Especially when they stole game 1, they thought, okay, well, they're going to come back the next game, which they did. And we should win at least one at home. But now they're up 3-1. They got to travel to Golden State. But still, you still have that competitive, you have that edge. They win it 3-2, okay. Then you go home. And you could close out the series there. Who would have thought the Golden State Warriors would be down 3-1 to the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and that the 73 wins mean absolutely nothing? And that's my question to you as we wrap up the show. Does their season, their regular season, what they accomplished this regular season, having the most wins in the NBA season, does it mean nothing now if they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. It doesn't mean nothing. It's like, hey, that's great, but you didn't even make it to the finals. What does it mean? What is the title of their season? Just like how the NFL always creates the DVDs and they name the season for that team. They give it a season. They give it a title for that season. What is the title for the Golden State Warriors for the 2015-16 season? Almost. What is it? For the Cleveland Cavaliers, I feel like they're playing with the emotions of the Raptors. I really don't think how dominant they were in the first two games to just fall like this in the last two games. I get it. The Raptors have stepped up their game, and at home, they're obviously a much different team than when they're on the road. But I feel like they're just messing with them because, and I know they're not, but it's just, how can you go from so dominant? I know that's the same thing with the Warriors, but the Thunder are a much better team than the Raptors are. So I don't know if I really want to compare it that much, but you go from the Cavs, who have just swept the first two rounds, they go to playing against the Raptors, how bad they have been playing. They beat an injured Miami Heat team, that if that Heat team was healthy, we definitely would have had a Heat versus Cavs Eastern Conference Finals. But it just feels like they're just messing with them. They're trying to just maybe get the ratings. I don't know, because we'll find out who the Raptors truly are tonight. We would find out who they really do. If they play, do they play tonight? I believe so. If they don't, whenever they play, when they have to travel to Cleveland, do they need to decompress? Do they need to just relax? Because, we're playing on the road. We can't win on the road. Have they already accepted that? Or are they going to play them tough? Can they steal one? If they steal one on the road, could we really have a Raptors Thunder NBA Finals? Ugh, that's gross. That's gross to think about. We'll end the show right there. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show to catch up with me when we have the show again. It'll still be every Wednesday. It could be early mornings. It could be 12:30 or 8:30. Or excuse me, 12:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. That's when the shows will be. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. All links are in the description down below, no matter where you're listening to, whether it's iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud. I feel like I'm missing one. Spreaker, YouTube, wherever. Thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless, and I will see you guys Wednesday. I'm out. Peace.